Namaste. Last Pint Productions presents the New Way podcast. The New Way contains positive and happy thoughts. We don't worry about how many episodes we're going to release or even when we're going to release them. I mean, gee whiz, some of the episodes you're going to hear this summer were recorded in 1928, during the heyday of pre-code film. That's a phrase you're going to hear a lot about here in the New Way. That's New Way, by the way, not New Wave. A lot of confusion over that one. And we are also not any of those other New Way podcasts. The New Way to Jesus, or The New Way to Making Millions working remotely from the comfort of your own home without doing naughty things on a camera. Though, we do enjoy that one if we're being honest. Now, before you listen to this episode, recorded sometime in the last decade, we need to come clean about getting a little dirty here on The New Way. So, be sure you've got those headphones on tight, and no little ones are within earshot. Okay, you cunt? Listener discretion is advised.
So you were in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah?
Were you in the shit?
Yeah, I was in the shit.
Last night, Darth Vader came down from planet Vulcan and told me that if I didn't take Lorraine out, that he'd melt my brain.
Here's how you get him. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me. I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Hello, and welcome once again to the New Way podcast, where we break down pop culture in case you're not feeling it. You know, might be a Thursday, a little rainy outside. Just don't feel like breaking down the pop culture. We're here.
Battery's low.
Yeah, we got you. We got your back.
happens.
We're gonna do it.
That's
Listen,
all
we do nearly 10 episodes a year, and we pack so much into that you'll never want for anything more than just our 10 yearly monthly specials that we put out for the
Like
New
we
Way podcast.
always say, quality over quantity.
That's right. But yeah,
That's
sure.
what we're all about. It's just quality.
I mean, sometimes the quality's not great either. So
Grade A.
No.
So we're actually just offering
USA
less
Prime.
of crappy podcasts than we used to back in the day. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're here to guide you through this week. We are upcoming on a holiday and a voting day, and a lot of stuff coming up in the near future. Gentlemen, since we used to have kind of a yearly Halloween podcast that went off the rails pretty much every time we did it. Since it is the season, does anyone want to share some of their Halloween costumes or activities or anything with our listeners?
Well, first I'd like to introduce myself, coming from the West Coast, Nick Santa Croce.
I thought I was going to let
You didn't do it.
I didn't want to hold their hand this time.
It
I
threw
wanted
me
them
off.
to figure it out.
It totally threw me off, and I'm starting to panic. Mike. I called you Mike. I just called you Mike. I don't know what to do anymore.
Matt was like, NNC3, and there's nobody else on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm your host, Matt, and I don't care about anybody else.
Oh my God.
This is episode 233. If you don't know who we are by now, is that a Prince mug? Or is that
It is.
That is amazing. Sorry.
With purple rain.
I love that.
Thank you.
Sorry, that just caught me off guard.
I also have Dolly Parton and Freddie Mercury in the same style.
That makes me so...
Somebody's birthday's coming up.
You
never know.
I also just love how fitting it is for the podcast topic that we'll be getting to. That's kind of amazing. Love that. Yes,
Dolly would have worked too.
Yeah, Dolly, and both on my list. Yes, I am joined, of course, by my co-hosts Ben Wilson and Nicholas Santa Croce.
Oh, hi. Nice to talk to you.
My beautiful boys. It's so good to. I'm so proud of the insightful, beautiful young men that you have become. Have I told you that before?
I'm a beautiful young man still. I'm pretty old.
You really are.
You are up there, though.
But your youthful exuberance makes up for.
I'm gonna be. When I turn my birthday this year, puts me closer to 50.
Wow.
I'm really officially there. I might as well just be 50.
You're halfway home.
Might as well.
Yeah, might as well. At this point, who cares? Well, boy, that really sunk my sails.
Way home. See, now you know what it feels like to be thrown off your perfect game.
Man, something's in the air tonight. This is just a rough one. I do want to say,
feisty.
so Ben, when you logged on, you might have noticed something that Nick noticed, which is that I am allowing Zoom's AI feature to listen in on our podcast this evening because I'm rather curious what it spits out in terms of how it encapsulates and breaks down our podcast as kind of an outside party.
It's just for transcription. It's not recording our voices, though, right?
You're
not training a model to. You could have it say whatever that you want it to say.
No. So as I understand
I don't consent to that.
It
I do not
Just a
consent to
racist
that.
monkey on the other end taking notes.
It's not strictly a transcribing tool, as I understand it. It's more of kind of parsing. It's supposed to be if you have a meeting, you put it on, and it kind of like it's like, well, Nick brought up these points that need to be addressed next time they're on the call. So it's supposed to kind of like organize the podcast, which is what I'm very curious to see if it just breaks at some point, 60 minutes into it, realizing we haven't even gotten to our topic yet.
I want what Facebook has now. It's like commenters have shared a combination of disgust and sadness over. I just break down our 2 hours into a few sentences. What would AI think of that?
I do love the breakdown of the comments section.
I do kind of.
I really love it. It has become a crutch for me because I don't want to have to go combing through a bunch of comments a lot of the times. I just want to know the Cliff's Notes, and it's like, hey, buddy, I gotcha. This is what's happening. I love it. I really wish I hated it more than I do. I don't hate it at all.
I have basically watched social opinion change on Baltimore Raven quarterback Lamar Jackson over the AI synopsis over the past 2 years.
What is this due to?
Well, now it's greatly positive.
Oh.
2 years ago, reactions were missed.
Now Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the NFL. No. No argument.
Kind of.
Yeah,
and
sure. This is exactly what all of you were saying 2 years ago.
I might not really care about football the way I used to, but I am happy for Lamar Jackson. I really like Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
He's the dude.
Knock on wood. He's a good guy.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh no. I mean, I hate him.
I used to know some good guys in football, and then not so much.
No.
Really?
O.J. Simpson, you could say.
It's a real OJ.
Which also fits right into our topic.
Oh, sure it does.
Oh Lordy. I know this is not one of our sponsors, although I wish it was one of our sponsors, but I do have to shout out. I've been metering these out, like having one every month or so, but I bought for far too much money on a website you can't find it anywhere locally. The Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar Creamy Coconut is the greatest beverage you will ever consume. Beth Wilson turned me on to this. I, in fact, gifted her one of these liquid gold, $2 a can by the time you get it delivered from wherever the fuck they're stocking it. But Dr. Pepper, if you're out there listening, make this everywhere. It's the greatest thing ever.
But do you think that diet coconut Dr. Pepper just falls out of a coconut tree, Matt?
It tastes like it does, Nick. I feel like I'm in Hawaii and a coconut just fell down on me in the beach and I'm drinking Dr. Pepper out of it and it's delicious.
I think about Pog juice more than coconut milk when I think about Hawaii.
Pog juice?
Pog juice, yeah. Passion fruit, orange, guava. That's where Pogs come from.
Or poi.
The cap of the... I hate... poi is bland and...
I have no idea what poi... I just know it from Wayne's World. Pass the poi, mahalo.
It's like a gray... It's like a light gray, slightly purplish pudding. No... It is... It's not bad.
It's awful.
It's not bad, though. Its greatest sin is that it's completely flavorless and just feels weird going down. I don't know why someone would have it.
Well,
I get
well, I mean,
Vegemite, you know.
that's something I can work with.
It's like people in Chicago drink Malort. You
Oh,
know,
that's
like
fucking
at least
stupid.
at least
Malort's the worst.
at least it tastes really bad, and they could just cling to it as sort of like a nostalgic, Homer thing. Boy, it's just like looks gross, doesn't taste like anything, and feels weird while you're eating it.
Have we ever had the Jägermeister Malort conversation? Because the thing is,
I thought you just I thought you just said they merged drinks like
That's
Dr.
what
Pepper
I
and
thought
Coke.
too. I thought you were like,
Oh my god!
it was like fucking Transformer. Like all of a sudden.
and today we're gonna have a cuvee of Malort and and Jägermeister.
I just felt a legitimate shiver run down my spine.
I saw it. I saw you. I think I saw the screen shake.
And I know I'm going to be in the minority. I know I'm going to get shit for it. I actually do like Jaeger. I don't
I like
want
Jaeger
to take
too.
a
We
shot.
all like Jaeger.
We all like Jaeger.
But combined with Malort, anything combined with Malort is terrible. But
anything.
Jaeger and Malort is especially.
Gotta have my
delicious.
deer's blood.
I'm about to share a really, really, really embarrassing story.
Oh.
So in advance of that, Nick, do you remember what happened when you took that shot of warm Jaeger in our house in 2023?
I want to clarify. It wasn't Jägermeister. It was after several shots of Jägermeister. It was
warm.
that homemade
It was warm,
moonshine.
though.
It was the homemade moonshine.
Oh, that's right.
That's what
Wasn't
did it. That's what did it.
What is this?
To be fair, it's nothing. You can move on.
No. Come on.
It's okay. This is.
We've set the table. We're going to eat. Serve us the dinner.
Nick was like, I have to make a phone call.
Yeah.
And promptly left the house. I was just like, you just go out there and throw up.
I just a steady stream.
And I walked out, and he pretended like he was on the phone. I was like, were you just throwing up? He was like, yeah, I'm sorry.
I tried to hide it because I got all of a sudden it got to that moment in the party where like, oh, you've gone too far, and now you're in the middle of a sea of humanity. And I sifted my way through the outside. I didn't think anybody saw me, and I thought, oh, it'd be great is I'll just my back will face to the
Ben
door.
always knows.
I'll pick up my phone, pretend like I'm on a phone call, so no one comes up to me, and I'll just vomit in peace. And Ben sticks his head out. Hey Nick, what's going on? And I'll have the phone up to my ear, but it's a steady stream, just to like.
Hey, buddy, need a beer?
Gut. yeah, and he did. Then he did. He's like, oh, he's
I was
weak
like-
now.
Are you sick? You were like, yeah, I'm getting sick. It's fine.
I was like an injured wildebeest, and getting me to drink more beer was the lion going in for the kill.
So yes.
Trust me, I have a much more embarrassing story to tell you.
Oh boy, is this the Houston story?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's first real quick. Nick, what are you? I know Halloween's a big season for you and the missus. What kind of activities have you been up to? What costumes are you working on? What can you share with us?
We've got a couple of our like favorite LA Halloween things, and one of them is a really fun company. Myers puts on this kind of cocktail soiree with different rooms and monsters and a little mystery you could solve. You could choose to get immersed by the story and try to solve a mystery, or you can just walk around and drink.
The same room that the most recent Dream Theater video was shot in.
Now that was another event called Delusion, which I'm going to tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and it's a immersive. I would say somewhere between your classic haunted house, the Sleep No More, the super intense, scary actors shake you and you sign a waiver. It's like right in the sweet spot in between. There's lots of theatrics. You're ushered from location to location. Last year there was a guy in our group we're waiting to get in, and he was kind of this awkward dude, and we started talking to him, and he's like, yeah, I had two friends bail on me, but this is kind of expensive, so I decided to still come. Can I be in your group? I'm like, yeah, sure, man, sure, man.
Plant.
And he was a fucking plant.
Yeah,
that gets
I love that shit.
murdered like in the first act. So it's like one of my favorite things to do. The problem is it's tomorrow, which is landing on what they are saying is going to be a historically bad night for traffic in Los Angeles. there's a World Series game, a USC game, a Lakers game. Jeff Lynne's Electric Light Orchestra and Roger Waters and Pink Floyd are playing 2 stadiums next to each other.
And Carrot Top is in town.
And Carrot Top is in town, which is probably just going to back up the valley, to be honest with you. Nothing downtown. But this is the Laugh Hut in Pomona. But where I'm going, it might be kind of hairy. So
can you take any of that, any of the subterranean transport to get there?
Yeah, that's not happening. That was like the light rail to Vegas they were promising 20 years ago. It never came to fruition. We have to get the scientists working on the tube technology.
Did you just mention mass transport in Los Angeles?
Nick has talked.
Things don't coexist.
Nick has told me you used to be on it quite a bit when you were in Silver Lake, right?
The Gold Line,
yeah,
and Highland Park, but it's not called the Gold Line anymore. They changed the name of it, and they added a new little Tokyo stop, which is something that I'll still take. But
nice.
That's about it. How
about you, Ben? Have you figured out your costuming? You got the girls going out for the trick or treating.
Chumi Nasayan.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fair.
I love. Luna was telling me a story about her costume, which I mean it's a little boring. It's probably the most popular costume for girls her age. Papa Smurf. Mm-hmm. She's coming as Papa Smurf, and I asked her, like, what?
Yeah, definitely the most popular.
Why? And she's like, oh, you got to see my beard.
Girls.
Yeah. My beard looks so good.
And she's not seen the Smurfs. She's just saw the costume. Is that correct?
She doesn't know the Smurfs. She has no clue.
And Mario's going as a Smushmallow. Like a giant.
Yeah.
I do love that.
Yeah.
Wait, now, I've seen those Smushmallows.
Squash.
No, it's smush.
Squishmallow.
It's like a Beanie Baby that's a pillow.
Yeah.
And it's still having its day. But is that now? My question is that a Beth has to make from scratch kind of a costume, or is there actually?
She bought one.
Oh Jesus! There's a Squishmallow branded.
Of course,
wow.
These kids don't know how good they have it with the Amazon and the Halloween costume. They don't have those fucking 2-dimensional paper plate fucking masks, and then you're wearing something made out of tissue paper. It's fucking our costumes as kids were the shittiest goddamn things on the planet. I every year I see the trick or treaters come up, and they're in these fucking like. Might as well be like B costumes from the set. Like it's unbelievable, and they're cheap.
I'll never forget. The one time I really begged my mother to make me a costume. And my mom was crafty, but she was also a teacher. So her free time, a lot of it was preparing for her own classroom and stuff. So it was at a premium, and. She made me she bought blue snow pants for Mario, and Mario 3 came out. And I specifically, of course, I go, no, Mom, I don't want to just be Mario. I want to be Tanuki Mario.
So
she goes, oh, God.
So you could appropriate.
So she cut out little, like, raccoon ears, and she sewed and stuffed a raccoon tail to the snow pants. And I got a giant mustache, and I'll never
real raccoon too.
Nick, my mom literally did the exact same.
And that was right after we saw The Wizard. We were brainwashed. It was all Mario 3, and I remember being so proud of her and so proud of me. And I think I have. This is not the store-bought costumes I've been getting in the past couple years. This is like I've upped my game. That was my first taste. That's like when the dealer gives you just a little bump, and then you're addicted to Halloween for the rest of your life. And now I'm an adult, and I spend way too much money making it perfectly, cosplay accurate. Because the first house I went to, this old woman, probably like 70, 75 years old. She goes, "Oh my goodness, Earl, come here, you got to see this. Mickey Mouse is here." And I remember just my heart snapping. The first house, I was so proud, and tiny little raccoon ears and a giant mustache. And she's like, all she saw was the overall.
Yeah.
I think she probably needed her glasses.
It
crushed me. It absolutely crushed me.
When I was 9 years old, I went as the Shadow, and everyone was like, and was like, "Oh,
And
it's Zorro."
Thanks. Sora.
Oh my God.
My mom. I've got to track down the story because
Ben's like, I'm the train from the Great Train Robbery. The greatest pre-code film ever made.
I can't remember what it was. My mom went through
The
like
Great Train Robbery was not pre-code film.
It wasn't.
Oh boy.
I guess I don't know what pre-code film is. Surprise.
There you go. No. So my mom went through this period where she like got really into going to Joanne Fabrics and getting those like, you buy the costume like sewing like kits, but she wouldn't do them. So I remember one year she made a Ninja Turtles like costume, this elaborate.
Those are tough.
Ninja Turtle, but it was not like this was not like a screen accurate. It was very poofy.
No.
And it was not.
No one's mother's Ninja Turtle costume came close to being an accurate Ninja Turtle costume.
What I need to track down is, as I recall, this was not made for me or for my brother. My mom made it for herself. And then I don't think she like necessarily, I think she just did it because she thought it'd be fun. And then a year later, I bought a raptor mask. And I repurposed the Ninja Turtle costume for the body of the dinosaur. And this was I'm too old to be going trick-or-treating. This would have been 16 years old. I think I went out in that costume. And people were like, what are you? And I was like, dinosaur. Just give me some candy.
Cool, like a cryptid. Obscure, like third chair cryptid.
It was a very weird year. But yes, happy Halloween to everyone.
What are you going to be, Matt?
I am. So I don't know if I'm going to be rehearsing on Halloween yet. So I don't know if I get a Halloween. So I'm very likely going to.
You don't deserve.
I don't deserve it. I think I've pieced together in my closet a very dapper devil costume with like a red vest and a cape, and I've got some devil horns that I can throw on, and I'll be a dapper demon should the opportunity arise for me to get dressed up for Halloween.
Well, I love Satan and alliteration, so
Yes.
I approve.
Yes, this is that's how I do it, and I do it, Nick. I do it for you. So this is great.
And our Dark Lord and Savior, Lucifer Morningstar.
A little Satan.
Yeah. I do want to also, I'm going to break some news here on The New Way. Some of you already know, but I will be doing in February of next year, I will be doing my first David Mamet play. And I will be getting to swear and have no pauses.
Both Glenn, Gary, and Ross.
I am going to. It's basically as if the New Way podcast became a play because no one is allowed to finish a single sentence, and there are no pauses, and it just goes thing to thing to thing to thing.
And everyone just yells over.
Yes. I've been training for this play for all seasons of this podcast since 2017.
Does Tom Hanks have sex in it?
Not in Glenn, Gary, Glenn, Ross.
Or is
not with Glenn or Gary or Ross.
Okay, fair enough. You just said it was like the New Way.
It is, yes. That other than we do discuss whether or not Tom Hanks had sex in other movies in Glenn, Gary, Glenn, Ross. That's one of the big scenes.
That's what I thought.
All right, Benny. I've been waiting. I've been waiting all day. You were going to tell us a Houston story. I would like to hear the Houston story now.
Yeah. So
you have the Apollo 13 sound effect ready on the drop?
I sure don't, Nick.
I wish, man. I've kind of been going through it recently. I've had a lot of health problems and I've been in extreme amount of pain, and I'm about to start a new clinical trial, and I've been going back and forth to Houston, and so, kidding aside, not all that shit sucks. I have the clinical director of my new trial. Her name is Sheila, and so she is tasked with the unfortunate burden of calling
Loving you
me
till the
and
morning
asking me-
comes.
What?
Oh, Sheila.
Okay.
Well, she's tasked with asking me way too many personal questions. Well, the best happened when I was leaving Houston this past week. She called and said, I'm really sorry. I have to ask you one more question. Are you sexually active? And I said, well, I'm married. Well, I said, well, I'm married. And she was like, are you sexually active?
That was all right.
And I was like, yes.
Frequently.
No, and it was in the form of a question. It was like, yes.
I love
And she's like, I just need to know. And I was like, well, the problem is that when you're on this upcoming trial, you can either choose abstinence or you need to use multiple forms of contraception. So, is that going to be a problem? And I said, my wife won't have a problem with that at all. I was like, I can't guarantee you which one she would choose. and then there was just dead silence. And like 10 seconds go by, I was like, Sheila, that was a joke. She was like, oh, no, I got it.
Oh, Sheila knows.
Fucking
Sheila knows.
No, it was like one of those, I got it, and it was very, very funny. Like, absolutely a Wet Hot American Summer moment.
And it happened on my shoe.
And it happened.
God.
Oh, that is wonderful, Ben.
Yeah, so that was fun, having that completely unanticipated conversation with
So
Mom.
Sheila, if you're listening, thank you for the material.
Oh, she's a huge fan of the podcast, by the way.
Oh,
Is she Patreon? Is she Patreon?
No, I'm fucking with you. Of course not.
God damn it.
I got really excited.
Honestly, though, I've had enough conversations with her now. She might be.
You can tell her to listen to this episode. Maybe tell her she only has to wait 25 minutes to get to this nugget, this gem. We're just barely getting started on our pre.
No, you know what it is? It's like the old 49er like panhandlers.
I referenced someone literally like in the medical community and jokingly. So no, I won't do that. But yeah.
You don't get to get nuggets, Matt. You have to put a pile of dirt, and you have to do the hard work to get the nuggets yourself.
Wow.
That's what it's like listening to this podcast.
God, that's awful.
You gotta roll up your sleeves.
I can't wait to see what the AI does with that. Like, something they were mining for nuggets at some point, but Nick suggests maybe burying in more dirt.
After that long silence, it was like, so how about Lamar Jackson, eh?
And it all comes back to Lamarvelous.
I want to, lest we get really, really sidetracked in a lost conversation, I do want to kind of recommend a series that is very...
Wait, do you mean like Lost?
It's
Lost.
It's called Andor.
It's not, no. Yes, I am a Gilroy head as well, but I did
and
love...
or what?
the Andor shout out on the Lonely Island podcast this week was Chef's Kiss, but
I'm a Gilroy head.
Yeah.
That's what the line was. It made
yeah.
me laugh really hard.
We don't talk about other podcasts on the podcast.
we it's all we do.
All right. And I remember.
So there is a show, and it is on a platform I didn't know even existed, but has really cool animation for it. MGM has its own platform, which I think is part of Epix, which is part of something else. I don't know. But I used a free trial because I keep hearing about this series called From. And the show is starring Harold Perrineau from Lost.
Right, from Lost.
Almost half of the episodes are directed
Starring Jake Fromm?
from Allstate.
Former Georgia quarterback Jake Fromm?
That's right. That's how we're going to lead into the topic tonight. Jack Bender, who, if you're a Lost head, you will recognize that name as having directed many episodes of Lost, is a big director on this. it is a very similar premise that people wind up in this weird little town, and they're all kind of brought there from very different places, and there are monsters out in the woods that come out at night. And I will say, so it's one of those interesting things, because I was about halfway through season 2 and I was ripping my hair out because there's three. They just started season 3. It's been out for they're releasing them quick, like one a year. So like it's trucking. They're only 10 episode seasons. But it's
sounds like the Village.
And I'm sorry, it's
Very
absolutely,
much.
It's absolutely crazy to me that I've personally witnessed the industry come to a grinding halt, and you're talking about a show in its 3rd season that I've literally and a network
never heard
I've
of
never
before,
heard of.
And I gave it a shot, and I will say, so I recommend it with some apprehension, because the writing is really terrible at times, and they go out of their way to be like, we should talk about this, and they're like, not right now. They do that constantly, and they're like, or they'll start to give information, and they'll be like, no. And then they won't do it. No one has communications, and everyone.
You want to know what the smoke monster is?
Everyone goes. We're in season 3, and everyone's like, if they had one town meeting with like the 20 people there, they would have solved the whole show by now. Like, everyone would know what was going on; it'd be over. But I will say it's very scary. It's got some really good horror elements in it, especially if you're looking for Halloween. It had one jump scare on the last episode that legitimately like got me. Like real good got me. And some very creepy imagery. Harold Perrineau acts his ass off in it. He's great. Other actors, not so much. There's a big role for a kid. He's not very good. There's a lot that's shitty about it, but I'll say the answers we're getting now in season 3 are pretty fucking fun. And it is very much it's lost with the Reddit generation. Like they know what everyone is talking about in the message boards, so all of that shit is constantly brought up and referenced and talked about in the show. But if you're looking for something, it's not a bad use of your time, and some good spooks and scares in it. So,
but then you got to find out some way to fucking get MGM Plus.
It does have a cool intro. So it does the MGM lion, but then it turns to the side and it's like 3D and real, and it comes like roaring through the screen. I love it. It's so good.
Nothing is going to top the TriStar unicorn Pegasus that comes alive. That was my favorite.
I like that one. But this is pretty cool.
There's such a hole. There's such a fucking hole in cinema that doesn't exist anymore.
Before we get into the topic too, it was funny because earlier this evening I was like, Beth and I were just talking about like horror movies and talking about like, you know, Halloween's the spooky season. And I was like, is there any movie or any TV show you ever watched that like you would consider something like the scariest thing you've ever seen?
I have mine.
And she made a really good point. She was like, The Ring. And I was like,
yeah.
You know what?
The Ring fucked me up.
I watched The Ring once in the theater and was like, I never have to see that fucking movie.
Yeah. The Ring fucking sucks.
Fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Mine is Twin Peaks. I can't.
Well, of course.
And it's funny. And I was listening to Rashida Jones was on Conan O'Brien's podcast earlier this year. I'm kind of making my way through the back catalog. And she was talking about how her mom, Peggy Lipton, was on Twin Peaks. And she's like, I met the guy that played Bob, and I nearly pissed myself. And she goes, he's the nicest guy in the planet. He's like, he's got this real effeminate Southern voice. He's like the guy in Family Guy is like, I'm Bob. And she's like, I was still fucking terrified. And she's like, I could not separate the two things from reality. But Bob will always be the scariest thing ever.
It was just making me laugh because I'm like, there are all these like, you know, quintessential horror movies like The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, like movies I love that I have literally watched like 100 times.
Yeah.
And Beth was like, The Ring. I was like, oh, I watched that movie once. That was enough.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
I had not seen Ringu. I've not seen the original. I've only seen the name.
Yeah.
Which scared the fuck out of me.
I mean, it's almost as terrifying.
It has what makes it scary is it has like kind of like the Jaws effect, like people were afraid to go under, in the water. I feel like, even televisions freaked me out for a little while after that movie.
Yeah, I mean, the static. I mean, like
Yeah,
you saw,
yeah.
and it was the same as Poltergeist. I mean, like Poltergeist
For sure.
is a scary movie.
Well, I stopped swimming in wells as soon as I saw that movie.
Yeah,
That was
right.
completely over for me.
And
I
have a
stopped eating
recommendation.
my
for this.
sharks after I saw it.
Right. I have a recommendation that's actually a very good like new way recommendation. I feel like listeners and hosts of the new way
Wow.
will particularly like this.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if you've heard of it. Ghost Watch. Are you familiar with Ghost Watch?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Matt,
I don't
think
know.
that you're gonna dig this in premise. Basically, it's a real program that really I think supposedly aired on Halloween night on BBC One.
Apparently.
With real BBC personalities, anchors.
Is this? Oh, this is like the TV show, like the. It looks like an old TV show.
Well, it's
yeah.
it's a basically inspired by War of the Worlds. They
Yeah.
wanted to do
I know what you're talking
modern
about.
day War of the Worlds with ghosts.
Yes.
And I watched it the other night with Amanda and Frank, and it is really well done. It's dated in the ways you would expect it to be dated, but I mean the performances are mostly dialed in, and I keep trying to think that up until like the very very end, I could see how some people thought it was real. I mean they never aired it again on television ever after this because of the uproar.
Yeah.
I think there was a teenager who committed suicide and the
Jesus.
parents thought it was because of this you heard pipes banging, which is a thing in the show. It had a stranglehold on the UK when it came out, but it's on Shudder and I think AMC Plus. But watching it with that lens, knowing it was sort of you could see like how they were inspired by War of the Worlds, and then you could see how like Blair Witch was inspired by Ghost Watch.
Yeah.
Just kind of an interesting watch, at least just on that level. But it's good.
I did hear also, I believe that speaking of Blair Witch, that those actors won their suit with Lionsgate because they were getting fucked over by it, but they had enough of the public got behind them enough that I think that Lionsgate had
I think they're going to make some money.
Yeah,
Heather.
which is great. Yeah.
I love it. I loved it at the time that beat Ninja Turtles as the biggest grossing independent film.
Well, no, and friend of the podcast, JB Wing, is good friends with Mike from that movie, and she said he's super super fucking happy that.
And by the way, we saw Jamie Wing and Jamie Overwing and the prom this past week, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a killer fucking role.
But our friend Seth, who came on the pod, wow. I was like, oh, he's actually an actor.
Yeah. As he mentioned on the podcast, this is the guy that, was up against Paul Rudd and replacing Mark Ruffalo in shows and was one of the down against Edward Norton for Primal Fear.
It was him versus Edward Norton
and Primal Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Seth. That's Seth's first time back on stage in several years.
But so I only have known him through our conversations and from him being on the podcast.
Yeah.
And then I saw him in the show in the prom. I was like, holy fuck! Like, what an actor!
Yeah,
he is an actor. So yeah.
An actor.
Yeah.
No. Well, it's almost funnier that you put it that way because it
makes
it funnier in the context.
I believe you were talking to
I
three
meant what I said.
actors who don't want to do another Geronimo picture. My favorite lines ever. All right, kids.
No. Anyways, just wanted to say, throw it out there. Seth, awesome, fabulous. JP, awesome. Fabulous.
They'll be very happy to hear that. They spent they worked really really hard on that show. So that's it's and it also if the show is ever touring around you guys out there, everyone thinks it's going to be just like it's a kids show or it's about a bunch of like kids going to prom.
No,
it's not at all. It's a really big kind of satire on Broadway actors and politics and like small town bigotry and stuff. It's much more going on in it than I think you would think just seeing it.
I think there are more than 2 hands full of Trump jokes.
Yes, there are. Some of those were in the script, and some of those were added by the director.
I'm sure somewhere improvised.
Well, I never.
There's a great line in one of the songs where the rhyme is "so let's not be total dicks," and then the director added a MAGA hat on one of the people as he's singing it to them, and he grabs the hat off and shows it to the audience and then fucking throws it off stage. I was like, I appreciate this. I'm on board with this. But good show, great show. They just closed last weekend. All right, so let's get to our
Florida still
topic.
has art, everyone.
Some place, listen, and just because they say we
legal.
can't say gay,
the
we
Lake
say
Worth
gay.
Playhouse still has
Lake Worth Playhouse is still gay. That's what you just remember that, okay? Still gay.
The Lake Worth Playhouse is the enemy within.
That's the man within. What's that? That's so good.
What?
What's Tobias's book? The man within me, or the man in me. The man in me.
The man in me.
The enemy in me.
some Paul.
Yes, that's correct. So our topic for this evening is kind of something I was interested in. We've definitely, I know in our cameos episode we probably bumped into some of these things here, but we haven't really done this topic, which is what happens when you take someone who is famous but not an actor and you put them into a movie or a TV show.
Hilarity ensues.
Hilarity ensues.
Hold on. I thought we were doing the Rowdy Roddy Piper episode.
All of the above.
Also counts.
Also, we're gonna get to how many wrestlers show up on this list, but typically we're looking at athletes and musicians. Those seem to be the two major fields that are there's not a huge list of like engineers that all of a sudden decided to go into other than Weird Al Yankovic.
Only one of them is here to kick ass and chew bubblegum.
That's right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm done with the Rowdy Roddy Piper. I just had to.
I'm glad that he's come up twice. I think that's fantastic. He'd be happy, for sure. But so I kind of wanted to talk.
He probably just got paid.
Somewhere he just got like a little boner, like not a full, but he's just like, I don't know why, but I'm feeling good right now.
So does Ben every time you mention Rowdy Roddy Piper.
There we go.
It was all right.
So Nick's looking
Jesus.
around.
What the fuck was that?
Listen, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Matt. Jesus
I
Christ.
was going for another button. I'm sorry, and it worked. I'm sorry,
You asshole.
I was trying to get to, and I overshot, and I got.
Wow. What a roller coaster of emotion.
So sorry.
Jesus.
Guys, I'm rusty, all right? We only do one episode a month now. I barely remember how to work this equipment.
Hi, Rusty. I'm Nick.
So I'm kind of curious. I going through the list, I was kind of curious which sports would seem to produce the best actors or actresses, or if there was a sport that was more represented than others.
Well, it's wrestling.
It's yeah, and I go even after
handily,
pretty handily.
Well, I
Right?
mean, but the
Football's
reason why
not
is
bad.
because wrestling is performative. They're playing a role. They're up there and they're doing their thing and they're whatever. And meanwhile, even if you look at a movie like what was the movie where Billy Crystal plays the ref?
It's not. It's something in Paris. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Something in Paris.
Paris. Yeah. Paris. Whatever.
Whatever.
the ref?
He plays
he plays
a
a
basketball ref in.
Wasn't there a movie called The Ref?
No, but that's a different movie.
That's just Leary.
That's right.
No, there's all of these actual.
Forget Paris is the name of the movie.
Yeah, forget Paris. All of these actual
we all did.
basketball stars in the movie, and they're terrible. No one
Like on the scale of like Space Jam bad basketball actors, is it better or worse than
much
We're
worse.
talking about like so far down the terrible.
They're Brett
Cameo,
Favre
rabbit hole.
in something about
Oh,
Mary
no.
bad. Like they're real bad. But I do think Brett Favre is the worst with the biggest
was-
part.
His name
Really
is
bad,
Brett
yeah.
Favre.
It's worth it for the joke of mispronouncing his name, but then you realize he's
That's
got
why.
too much
That's why.
time.
like they're in the edit room, like, guys, we got to shave a minute and a half off. We cannot release this movie unless we shave off a minute and a half. Let's get rid of the Favre joke. He's fucking horrible in it. They're like, but Favre. Like, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's bad. He's bad enough to get cut. You are absolutely right. That is the worst, biggest cameo.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
got too much
Has to be.
time on it.
Way too much.
Well, so
Cut to the Favre.
Here's what I'll say is that I feel like in a lot of, in most general contexts, all of the NBA guys that have been in major motion pictures, all the NFL guys that have been in major motion pictures, kind of suck. LeBron James, pretty
Good.
good in Trainwreck.
Yeah, he's really good in Trainwreck. I completely agree with that one, and there are some exceptions, and I'll get into them.
I think the litmus test is SNL. If you're an athlete and you're in at least three good sketches, you can carry a major motion picture. That's the test.
Yeah, and you think of that, but then you also think like we don't know because they've never done it, and probably they haven't done it because they think they're not going to be good at it, or they've tried something small and it wasn't good. But like the Manning brothers were great on SNL, but never made the jump to doing a movie, which is interesting.
Well,
to
they
me.
didn't have the aspiration for
They've
it.
never tried, yeah.
Yeah, they never had the aspiration for it. If you have the aspiration and that you are host on SNL and it's a success, for me that's the green light. If I'm an exec, I'll roll the dice if their episode of SNL was good. That's my line. I think.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not ever gonna greenlight a movie with Eli Manning as my main man. I mean,
I you know what though?
I could write him a vehicle.
I suggest Eli Manning and remakes of classic Adam Sandler films, and he'll play Adam Sandler's character. He'll be Billy Madison in the Billy Madison remake. He'll be Happy Gilmore.
I love that you're
sorry,
remaking.
Nick, hold on. I have to start taking notes.
Yeah, we're gonna reboot this Happy Madison property.
I love
He's gonna be the water boy.
I
Meta.
love that you're rebooting movies with an older actor than the one
An
who
older,
originally-
less capable actor. Yes,
It's amazing.
Yes, that's the point. That's the
I
point.
love it. I
just
think
came to
that's
me. It just
fantastic.
came to me. I can't turn it off. It just these ideas just come to me.
There were two people that in my research that came up that I was surprised. There's a soccer player and there's a professional diver who have made very big careers for themselves, and you've seen them in many a movie.
Didn't Kelly Slater, the surfer, he did a bunch of acting at one point, didn't he?
Possible. Now these are both British gentlemen that you might have seen one of them in a.
Was Vinnie Jones?
I mean,
Vinnie Jones was
they don't
a.
count.
They don't count because they're soccer players, or they're British, or both.
Football. They're football players.
Yes, Vinnie Jones was a pro footballer, and Jason Statham was a pro footballer and diver.
So, Vinnie Jones was an
Muff diver.
enforcer, and it makes sense because he became an enforcer.
Yeah,
in movies and television.
yeah. But I would never have thought of those two. I kept seeing their names pop up, and then I saw another
Yeah,
list. That,
Jason Statham is. I mean, I remember that he was an Olympic diver.
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
which is like nuts. Like I can't imagine, but makes sense why he's bald, because that shaves a lot off of those dives, less splash.
And that's why he was in the Meg.
That's right. So so I noticed kind of that a lot of the pro athletes, especially in the 80s, went the cameo comedy route, which is where you get things like you get Kareem in Airplane, so he doesn't have to do.
You don't need range. You just need to be able to hang.
Yes.
You need to be able to hang.
Yeah.
Again, the SNL rule, right?
And he's a straight man, just deliver a couple lines. Yeah.
You have possibility for range when you go to music. I mean, when you think about it, you know what I mean? You got Madonna, who could do drama or comedy. Cher, same deal. Grace Jones, even in the B-movie realm.
Yeah.
Got to see Vamp for the holidays. Lady Gaga. You have Courtney Love, Oscar nominated. You have a lot of musicians. And I mean, if you want to opine on it and get nerdy, I feel like you are maybe a little more in touch with your emotions, which is
you're a
key thing you tap into when you're an actor. So it makes sense to me that Tom Waits, of all people, could just fucking waltz into a Coen Brothers movie and fucking
hold on. Tom Waits, I think, is more of an actor than he is a performer in this point.
Is he? Was he an actor before he started acting?
I mean, he started acting in the 90s, and then...
No, but I mean, was he an actor before his first appearance in film?
It's a good question. Let's go to the Tom Waits Wikipedia.
We always talk about like our rules and how we interpret this. I interpret it as if anyone whose main or first aspiration wasn't acting.
He had a music career in the late 60s into 70s. So he was a musician first.
No, I mean,
that
we
counts.
knew that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I had the same. I had a problem. It's funny that she actually shows up in his Wikipedia here, but I had the same debate over Bette Midler, because Bette Midler was a Broadway.
Musicals. Yeah. That's an actor.
But like not a lot, and didn't really hit fame until she did Divine Miss M.
I do feel like that is on the job training before diving in. To be honest with you.
You got to think about how many musicians were like musical theater kids in high school and college, and they're not Broadway, so they're not necessarily maybe getting paid for it.
Well,
but
sure.
But it is kind of interesting to kind of see those trajectories.
But we're also talking about, I mean, in the case of Bette Midler, she's a performer.
Yes.
She's not an athlete. She's not.
No. Yeah, I think obviously like
she's not Travis fucking Kelce.
That's mean. If she wanted to throw the foosball, I'm sure she could do it. No, she's no Howie Long. Really can't.
Well, who can be?
What was that movie that Howie Long was in? Firestorm.
Firestorm.
Oh yes,
it's so good. It's so bad, so good, so bad.
Oh my god,
I love
literally like the worst movie of all time.
What's funny is
with that haircut, you can only be a football player or a fireman.
He and Brian Bosworth though really split the you had those two, and they're still coming in third to Seagal, who's just like, I'm gonna do the same shit as yours, but I kind of do karate, and I got this ponytail.
Yeah, and like, see, I would say like Bruce Lee is in the same category of like you never had any acting background, maybe dabbled in the theatrical, but it's not like Bette, who is literally on stage, not just singing, but performing a story. That to me, where it starts to veer into, she's always kind of been an actor.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Well, that actually kind of brings up an interesting point. When it comes to like Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, guys who are legitimately like, the top of their craft and absolutely amazing performers. Jet Li.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. No, it's funny. I didn't think. It's funny.
Italy,
I didn't get
birthplace of pasta. All that oily thing.
I did. That's so weird. I can't believe I did not have Chuck Norris on my list.
What?
I forgot Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, man.
Chuck Norris is on every list.
Guys, I had room for Brian Bosworth or Chuck Norris, and I made my decision, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Well, we have some other ones on. So we've got obviously
Andre
the
Giant,
wrestlers.
You gotta.
Hey,
Come on.
Yes.
Hey Nick, turn off the podcast. Chuck Norris has to take over this podcast.
All right, let me find my switch. Hold on.
Now there are some football players that had longevity in their careers. I will say Carl Weathers.
Okay.
OJ had for a time had some longevity in his career. Carl Weathers, I think, could be arguably one of the most successful in terms of how long they were in the business.
I mean,
Didn't
Carl Weathers
LT
literally directed episodes of Andor? So yeah.
Didn't LT act? Didn't Lawrence Taylor?
A little bit. I never was a big. I do also. Jim Brown was another one I love, and I love seeing
Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks, baby.
Yeah.
But Jim Brown had a pretty strong career for that. And then we get into Ben, you kind of hit it on there because the basketball is the toughest one, and they're two made a real hard go at it with Shaquille O'Neal and Dennis Rodman, who like really tried. Dennis Rodman especially was like, I'm gonna pump out movie after movie after movie until I get to my Rob Schneider years.
Was that the last time I ever Googled Double Team? Yeah.
I wish I could say the same.
Did they wait to stop? Did they wait to start acting in films until they became a member of the Lakers? Were they like, oh, it makes the most sense because I'm there half the year anyway?
That's an interesting point. They were definitely both at the.
Why is that seemingly condescending question seem to make a lot of sense?
Yeah, it's because also their careers were like definitely not at their height of their playing by the time they were getting a lot of shit about like performance on the court, and they're like, well, maybe I should just start doing fucking movies here and get a head start on this, and then I can just like fall into that or when I'm not invited back.
Maybe just like signing with the Lakers was like, okay, well, now is when I try my hand at it. I'm here.
They just have there's just Hollywood in the lobby when you go to like sign your Lakers paperwork on the way. They're like, hey, while you're here, come on over. Just, you want to do a picture with Rob Schneider? Come on. Want to do Bulletproof with Damon Wayans? What's up?
You don't even have to audition. Just sign here.
Let me ask a question though. Who is your favorite ex-athlete actor?
Obviously, Dean Cain holds a pretty strong. No, I'm sorry. I will say I hate seeing anything with Dean Cain now because he's a right wing asshole. But I loved the New Adventures or Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman.
Sure.
I love that show. It was so good.
We were in high school.
So you're saying the all-time great
Hatcher, I hardly know her.
Current favorite or all-time favorite for athlete term?
All-time favorite. All-time favorite athlete.
Oh, it might be someone that's currently working.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a really hard.
Personal favorite is also different than just like you know what you think.
Yeah.
Is
I mean, Andre the
best.
Giant is in my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, as one role, and it's like, yeah, but what else was he in?
No, yeah.
But if you're talking about my personal,
I really continually like Dave Bautista. I think he picks interesting shit. I think he is working really hard. He does doing Dune and multiple Denny movies. I think he's awesome.
I like Jesse Ventura and Predator.
Here's the thing. John Cena.
Yeah,
Cena is great.
That's good.
Cena is great. I don't have any problems with him.
And you can't discount The Rock.
Yeah, it's The Rock.
No.
Yes, sir.
Well, he's the most.
That's what we were all thinking. That was the name we were all thinking, dancing around it. You gotta give him his flowers.
Not for my favorite. I like The Rock, but I don't. I like
one of the best.
I even watched
overall.
his
the body of work though. It's pretty hard to argue against.
I'm not a big fan of the fast movies.
I'm over it. I'm over him
Yeah.
too, but I mean, it's hard to argue with.
I
the
did
rest.
like his silly TV show.
But why are you guys over him?
I don't know if I not necessarily
Sorry,
over.
I'm not trying to like white knight the rock. But,
No, it's not an over.
White Knight The Rock sounds like a game show on Fox that like they play in between sweeps.
It's where you play chess against the Rock. And it's very boring. It's a very boring show.
So, unlike you guys, I actually watched wrestling in the late 90s. I was there at WrestleMania in Chattanooga, Tennessee, on Monday Night Raw in 2000. I loved wrestling. I loved The Rock.
Can you smell
I
what The Rock
I
is
don't dislike the Rock.
I mean, honestly, he's only done positive things since then for me.
Yeah.
So
I think
he is pretty widely disliked in the industry. No one likes working with him. And he has admitted to being a fucking asshole. So there's that.
I can't say. Listen, I watched Ballers. I watched Young Rock, which I loved. And I was really into that TV show. It was so silly, but it was like
I think Jamie edited on that.
Yeah, I would see the name pop up. It was you were watching 80s and 90s wrestling behind the scenes shit with people playing Andre the Giant and fucking. It was great. I thought it was fantastic. So I'm not a disliking, but like that new movie he's doing with Chris Evans with the Santa Claus looks like fucking dog shit. And whatever that movie was he did with Ryan Reynolds didn't look great. Like I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna see. I don't really watch much of his movie stuff.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna go see a movie because The Rock's in it or whatever. Because Dwayne Johnson.
But like, I get excited about Dave Bautista.
International
roles.
audiences still will. Yeah, I mean, but Batista also is starting to get into the golden age of like showing a little bit of range. He's mostly staying sci-fi action, but like you watch him in the new Blade Runner, and he has some really nice,
He was good in that movie.
subtle moments in that kitchen. You know,
the Blade Runner 2049. I mean, I was like, oh wow, this guy is not a wrestler. He's an actor.
No, he. I think he's in terms of just skill. I think he's the one that I'm like, okay, this is a guy that made it. Like he. I will think of him as an actor before I think of him as a wrestler. Versus The Rock, I'll think of him as a wrestler.
But see, like outside of sports, you also have like Alexander Payne. Whenever he shot on location, he always casts locals, and some of them have even major roles.
I was like, what sport did Alexander Payne play?
No, he directed them. I literally
was super confused for a second.
I literally had the disclaimer outside of sports. Moving on to another type of non-actor.
Alexander Payne, famous for his basketball career first, of course.
Well, I just
notable footballer.
I'm using this as a segue, right, to get to Danny Trejo and actors who like were like the cousin of the director, or like, you know, it was low budget, so they just got their buddy, and then they skyrocketed, right? I think that there is a sort of, when you go back to Alexander Payne, he will cast really good actors, but he always populates it with people who, you know, basically hooting it up.
Yeah.
And Hoot is on this list as well.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's important to lend a certain gravitas, a certain tone. And he's famous for that. Started some careers.
I mean,
but Trejo, man, like think about never acting before ever, and what, like your cousin is Rodriguez? Is it cousin or something?
I forget.
It's second cousin. It's a second cousin is Robert Rodriguez.
So he's a nepo baby.
Yeah. So he shows up in what's the one with Quentin Tarantino where they're
From Dusk Till Dawn?
No, the Robert Rodriguez.
El Moriarty?
Oh, Desperado.
So he shows him in Desperado, and everyone's just like, "Oh, we're gonna cast this guy and everything."
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, the career that he catapulted. I mean, he has done a ton of stuff.
He's 40 years old.
Yeah, for many years, like a whole decade. If you couldn't get Danny Trejo, you know, the casting directors like, get me like Danny Trejo type.
Yeah.
Which also lends the discussion about getting pigeonholed and
He doesn't
all
care,
the
though.
intricacies and nuances that come with that. But yeah, I mean, he went from
Well, look, in the same vein, you got,
memorizing and reciting The Wizard of Oz in jail to now basically always getting a call.
well, how about Arlie Ermy, another like non-actor that built a career. Arlie Ermy.
Is that the cannibal?
what? No,
That's Armie Hammer. Sorry.
No, the
Who?
Jesus Christ, the cannibal. Oh, no,
Armie
not
Hammer.
not
Armie Hammer
not Armie Hammer.
Is allegedly a cannibal.
Arlie Ermy, who was the drill sergeant that they hired to teach an actor to be the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket, and then he took over the role and then built a career out of it. Not Armie Hammer, noted cannibal.
And allegedly.
Alleged noted cannibal
and
Army. Wait, does he count? Because he was a cannibal first and then he became an actor?
I think so. In Ty West promoted the intimacy coordinator from X to play Pearl's mother.
Oh, nice.
In Pearl.
That's kind of awesome. We
Yeah,
broke Ben.
Yeah, he's recovering.
We
that
broke
nonstop
Ben.
hilarity.
I'm sorry, that was really funny.
I thank you. Yeah, he needed someone that spoke German, and she did. So
well, and what about
here you
that?
go.
What do we count? That the stunt woman that Tarantino bumped up in Death Proof. And then she's done like a lot of acting, even though she's a stunt person, she's not an actress, but I forget her name. But that's another. I like these like side ones. I mean, you could argue that Harrison Ford was a set carpenter who got like literally just picked up to do a movie.
So was Jesus, Matt. So
I mean, you can also go on the whole David Lynch, John Wick train too. And they weren't supposed to make movies, and they were all stuntmen.
And then you've got, I know they're Nick's favorite movies, but a lot of the Godfather and Goodfellas and Sopranos cast were not actors; they were actual mafia related people that wound up making huge careers in starting in Goodfellas and then going over to Sopranos. Uh-oh. Ben's got that twinkle in his eye.
Nick is toying with his
he's looking up something.
mustache.
He's reading.
I don't have a mustache. I'm clean shaven. I was just doing some light Googling, as I do during the podcast, to make sure I don't misspeak.
Who were we checking on? Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. Well, I was gonna say we can also, I think, seg over to the musicians, just because historically, because they're performers, they've had much more success moving into dramatic and Oscar-winning type stuff.
To that end, I remember what I was going to say. To that end, right? Do we count comedians like Robin Williams?
Ooh.
Because I almost don't count that either, because I feel like doing stand-up is tantamount, almost tantamount to like Broadway.
So
you're performing in a non-musical way.
I'll make the slight difference in that you look at somebody like Seinfeld, gifted comedian, not an actor, and not all of them can make the transition, or they're
even watch Williams and Good Will Hunting. And you're
yes,
like, okay,
and like even watching somebody
Bill
like
Burr,
Ray Romano,
really?
Bill Burr, like there are guys that did the sitcom or did whatever they were doing, and then went past that and said, "All right, I'm going to actually be an actor." I think I mean I would say it's very similar to the singer route. If you're a lead singer or you're a performer on stage that way, there's so much acting that's going on.
Even if you're a bassist? Come on. Come on. And backup vocal.
Name me.
What if you're a bassist and a backup vocal?
Name me one
vocals
that's
of all
not
time.
Sting. Name me one famous bass player that made an acting career.
I was in a few student films. That Luna still quotes my lines to me at inopportune times.
Other than you and Sting.
Do the line, Ben. Go ahead.
I would say that Unfortunately, Nick was in some films.
Oh,
I was in some films. I
cold.
wasn't horrible. I was a romantic lead.
I
was a romantic lead. Matt.
I think that you would have said something along the lines of oh God, what's the line now?
General
no,
Tso's.
I forgot it.
General Tso's.
Oh, General Tso.
My favorite.
General Tso's chicken.
So, General Tso's my favorite. The character brings Chinese food to a hangout session, and then I'm surprised and appreciative. And that's the line that hooked into Ben Wilson's brain.
You know,
his own children parrot it back at me. He was on top of a fridge in like 100 degrees in Tallahassee with a boom mic as I'm just like riffing off Chinese food.
I've always said when you have to explain what your line
was.
I've always said when you have to explain what your line meant, you're doing a really good job.
Well, you have to explain it. It was out of context. It's a short film.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not like a joke. You have to explain a joke, you're in trouble. You need context.
Yeah,
I had a kissing scene. I had a 360 kissing scene, Matt, with the camera literally, or 180. It's a circular move. Did a romantic circular move.
It wasn't 3. Also, it was about 27 degrees. just kind of turn. It's called an ornament.
Orbit.
Oh, an orbit.
Orbit.
Okay.
Orbit.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Remember that drink, Orbits?
Well, there's a gum.
It was. Yeah, little balls in it. Yeah, it was
yeah.
the shape of clearly Canadian, but had little balls in it. Yeah. Do you remember the drink Balls? BAWLS?
I don't remember that one.
Do you like balls, Matt?
What has happened? What has happened?
You answer the question. Answer the question.
I don't actually. I prefer the balls in the drinks. I don't like the boba. I do. But I like tapioca. That's the only one. So, but I really do hate balls in my drinks.
You like boba?
No,
What?
It's gross.
You like a nice snapping boba?
No, it's gross, and I don't like the process of sucking them up in that straw.
Normal boba.
No, but I do. Tapioca is the closest thing.
Maybe,
and I like that.
Maybe you do like it, and that's what scares you. You ever think about it like that?
Sure, but it's gross. I like it about as much as what you're intimating. I don't know. The texture is no good. No, we're talking about balls and drinks,
fuck
Ben.
you. Balls and drinks. There's another ball and drink.
That was our original title for the podcast.
Remember the Japanese sodas? You got a pinch, and then the ball fell into the mouthpiece.
Nah.
Remember that?
Nah.
What are those called?
I know. You look that up.
All right, now we can get back to the topic.
Now we can back to OJ.
Well, so I do like on the singer front because Ben, you asked the good question.
Ball drink.
You asked the good question for the wrestler side. Do you have a musician that you feel is above and beyond the rest of the pack in terms of acting, success, ability, whatever you want to look at?
I have a very strange answer to this.
Oh boy!
And it's just because he's not an actor and he knows he's not.
Bing Crosby.
Flea.
Flea is one of the other bassists turned actors in the rare Nick Santacroce Sting Flea trio. I think those are the only bassists that have gone on to. But you guys are like you're
Sting was great in Dune.
Yeah, you're 3 for 3. Like, there are only 3 bassists that have ever made the lead.
Well, Geddy Lee.
Ever been on screen.
Geddy Lee's really funny on Trailer Park Boys. Does that count?
Nah, he's just playing. Is he playing Geddy Lee?
Nah, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can't play yourself. You can't. Play yourself.
You have to stretch at least once outside of just a cameo of yourself. I would say.
No, the reason why I like Flea is because he's, just kind of loose dude, and never seems like he's acting.
Yeah,
what's the matter, McFly?
Flea is just fucking crazy.
He's phenomenal in The Chase, which again, as many times I brought up on the podcast, highly underrated movie.
His character isn't named in Back to the Future. Needles, man.
Needles.
Needles. Needles. Do they intimate that Needles is also responsible for his injury? Is Needles the one who caught him chicken into Drag Race? They imply that, or am I just making that up?
I don't think so. But,
He gets him fired.
He gets him fired.
Okay, maybe I was reading.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I was going to try to go this past weekend for the re-release, but I did not have the time.
I know you've been waiting for this. The Japanese soda is called Ramune, 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 and it's distinctive cod neck bottle, and it's like the marble like flows down into it, and you have to. It takes time to actually learn how to drink because you have to practice to learn to stop the marble from blocking the flow.
I'm sorry. Can we go back for it? Is that a known term? A cod necked
cod neck bottle named after its inventor, Hiram Cod. I mean, come on. We all have Google, Matt.
You fucking please tell me you're fucking kidding me.
It's real. It's not real.
It's not like a fish. I thought it was like a cod neck, like it was shaped like a fish.
We have great cod neck. Buds.
A cod necked bottle. Like, it's in one of those classic cod necked bottles. Oh yes, of course, a cod necked bottle. I used to drink from them as a child all the time. Cod necked bottles of this.
It's funny you mentioned that because once commonly used for carbonated drinks, today Ramune is one of its very few uses. So the cod neck bottle is
and now he's
almost going the way of the dodo.
It's good, and no one will. And without our podcast, he would be forgotten forever. But
save the cod neck. Hashtag save the cod neck.
Bottle. It just rolls off the tongue. I was going through the musician turned actor actress list, and I was having a hard time.
Oh, you want to talk about Taylor Swift?
Britney Spears and Crossroads.
I'm not including either of them because they are really not. They're not good. I'll say
technically
Lady
they
Gaga.
Also got their start. I mean, they got their start acting.
I will throw out one of my favorite cameos of all time, which is in High Fidelity, where you have Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, which is good.
I mean, that's pretty fun.
Which was supposed to be somebody else, right? It's somebody else in the.
It was supposed to be Bob Dylan.
Yeah. I like that one.
And so you have, but I just like when you're having a fourth wall breaking moment, and then they say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And it becomes a fifth wall breaking moment.
Yeah.
And then you have Springsteen there is pretty awesome.
I don't know. Like, I'm looking at my list right now. And you brought one up earlier who I think really was. It didn't act for long, but the period that they did really interesting work, which is Courtney Love. I think really showed some phenomenal acting chops over several movies, but then I don't know, like just that was it. So if you're looking at this list, is Cher the most established in terms of like getting to a like into film where you've got some stretching and some actual performance, or Lady Gaga?
I think Gaga and Cher are kind of in the same class. I think. Like, you know,
because I was trying to think of who else big outshines
popular
them.
properties too. You know.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Will Smith up into the slap probably would be, topping the discussion. In terms of body of work and dramatic work. But it is interesting. Like I was going through and I'm like, I didn't have as many jumping out at me of like, oh yeah, like Jennifer Hudson and Queen Latifah both made some pretty interesting stuff.
Huey Lewis was in Sphere, and
you do have Huey Lewis as the helicopter pilot in Sphere.
But then he was in Cruising.
And he was in Back to the Future.
And Back to the Future.
I mean, playing literally the opposite of himself. If that's not acting, I don't know what is.
Listen, it can never get loud enough for fucking Huey Lewis.
That's right, and he had to pretend like, I don't like this music that you're playing, but it's his song. It's good acting.
Well, even when he was square, he was still pretty hip.
Now, JB Overwing will be very upset if we do not bring up Barbra Streisand.
I was about to say, I was like, JB's going to be really
Barbara, and in terms of like career,
Streisand is
everything from also
way
directing,
higher than Cher.
Yeah, directing, acting, Broadway.
overacting.
Well, I might argue. Who's a better actor, Streisand or Cher? I think Cher's a better actor.
Yeah.
Think I would probably agree with that.
They both can fall into a little too much at any given time.
Are you daring to say they are overacting, sir?
Done a little thick.
Only one was a Moonstruck. So.
Yeah,
That's
which
true.
is overacting the movie.
Overacting
the movie. I think. I mean, Streisand's also just interesting from being able to be every part of the process in it. Is from a producer to a director to everything.
Well, I mean, yeah, like she was a phenomenal director. I mean, and honestly, I'm pretty like I would say an heroine filmmaker on her own terms. I don't think she's a good actor. But
I think she's her. I think she does what she does. I think you look at somebody like Bette Midler. I think does better with shows more range with a similar shtick.
Well, exactly. The Cher and Bette Midler are both in that range where you watch, even beyond something like Moonstruck or whatever, but if you watch something like what's the movie with I sent you a meme, Matt, like last week where it was the all you want to do is get loaded or laid.
Yeah.
With God.
If you join our Patreon, we will tell you the things that Ben is referencing.
If you're on your Patreon, you actually get the chip in your head where he sends it to you telepathically. You'll actually hear it in the podcast.
You're added to the New Way text service. You'll get these texts. Ben will CC you personally.
The only problem is that there's nothing in my head.
The problem also is, and when you are on our texting service, we do send you constant tests of our service pretty much like once an hour. So you could really be getting ready for your phone to be blowing up at, events. We break right through.
That's too soon. Too soon.
Yeah.
Nick, who was the guy who was originally supposed to play Marty McFly? Not
Eric Stoltz.
Bieber. Oh, used to.
I'm talking about Mask.
There was rumors.
Yes.
There was rumors they were going to reboot that with Bieber. I was going to.
Well, then it was the rumors were Tom what's his name? Spider-Man and Iron Man.
By the way, are you guys on Tom Cruise has sex with fish talk? Did you know that's happening? Like, I'm telling you,
no.
This is the second. This is Richard Gere and the Hamster 2.0 in the digital age. There is a conspiracy theory going on. There's a whole undercurrent of TikTok where the people are saying that Tom Cruise gets dropped off to pick up a fish of a certain breed and size.
Codneck.
Disappears with the fish and comes back. And the people, cover. I swear to God, it's a real thing that's going on right now. And he drinks from codneck bottles afterwards. I'm dead. I'm not making this up.
So
obviously.
is he banging the? Is he?
People are saying he's banging the fish. Yeah.
Is he banging the fish from the front or from the back?
I don't know. I'm trying to stay off of Tom Cruise fucks fish talk.
Nick,
so as soon as I see
you
a video,
brought it up. I need these answers. If I need them from our resident reporter.
Well, now I gotta tell just by the look of the influencer who's gonna talk about Tom Cruise fucking a fish, and I quickly scroll so it doesn't.
Wait, what are they?
Catch my algorithm.
What do they look like? That's fucking great. What do they look like?
Desperate.
I find that too, that I can tell when I'm on the wrong side of the talk, and I'm like, I know, nope, just gonna skip right through that one.
Quick.
I mean, honestly, I'm on the side of, at this point, if Tom Cruise wants to fuck a fish, have fun.
I do like that we had
for Kanye.
We had a debunking of a famous celebrity conspiracy theory this week, where
Marilyn Manson is not Paul from Wonder Years.
No, Jonathan Groff confirmed that Leah Michelle can read. And this happened on a podcast, and I've never seen him laugh harder. 'Cause they're like,
my God.
'cause they're like, "God, we gotta ask you," and he goes, I know the theory. He goes, and they're like, so like they're just flying those scripts. There's nothing in those scripts, right? He's like, no. And it's like he just thinks it's the funniest thing. He's like, no, I've seen her read, guys. It's fine, it's funny, but no. So we now have learned. I mean, unless he's really deep in it, that Lea Michele, she's still a horrible human, but she can read.
She can read like Donald Trump can read, though. They're tears.
That's fine too. The rumor was that she couldn't read anything. Like she couldn't read an exit sign. Like fully, like Charlie illiterate.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. Are there? We didn't talk about Prince or David Bowie. David Bowie had a really interesting film career. And I love Bowie in The Prestige.
He went from lead to like also like places like that. Like and he played
He played in type.
But sometimes he would just show up as a cameo, like in the movie about the art film. He played Andy Warhol.
Yeah, I mean his Tesla was not a David Bowie. It wasn't Labyrinth, which is just David Bowie in tight pants.
Yeah, he was Tesla, and then he was Warhol in Basquiat.
Yeah,
so
that's right, Basquiat.
Historical people as well as that Goblin King, and he played. He was in a lot.
Yeah, Bowie had fun shit and good. I mean, just a good one of those magnetic.
Bowie was good. Yeah,
things to a person you can't take your eyes off. That you're just like, holy shit, what is this?
I would say that he was one of those people that was definitely in, like, I felt like he was almost an actor as a performer,
anybody who writes like space operas and has a Ziggy Stardust outfit is probably made for the stage, whether it's behind a camera lens or
most of the really good ones are, it appears. I think, unless Nick wants to bring up any other type of bottles or other animals that Tom Cruise might be, and he can't tell us if he's doing the fish from the front or the back, so I don't even know why we brought that story up. But
I feel bad for the fish, but it's probably better he's occupied.
So is the fish alive, or he's not? He's banging dead fish or live fish?
I don't know. I swear to God, I only know enough that I've gotten a couple of these videos, and I'm trying to stay off the algorithm, so I don't really know.
Nick, you gotta get these answers for us. I'm not going on there. I'm not going to go on there, but I want to know the answers.
I'm pretty sure Beth is on Tom Cruise Fucks Fish Talk, so Ben can ask her tonight.
She will not admit to this.
There is absolute... The probability I'm going to ask her what's about that tonight is little to zero.
That'll be the next question Sheila asks you. Ben, do you have sex with fish when they're alive or dead, and from the front or back?
Dude, I've honestly had more personal conversations with Sheila than most.
It's wonderful. That's awesome. I love it. We want to thank you for listening to the New Way podcast, and we'll be back with another episode sometime. It's exciting now when your little alert pops up there. And we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh no, that was.
Listen, you were the one that forbid the countdown.
You just put the slow roll into it. You jumped right into it.
You don't, but you get mad when I do the lead in. When I do
you sneak attacked us. You just slipped it in there like a Republican bill.
God damn it! Because if I go and you're like, nope, you can't say and. You can't give us a verbal cue.
I'll tell you how to do it. Ready? That was a New Way. Thanks everybody, and cheers.
You said and.
Is your microphone? Is this microphone?
No, his microphone went off.
No.
Oh. Yeah, so you said and though. You told me I couldn't do and.
You could say and, just don't go. Okay, listen. Again, you're like Cher. You are prone to overact. Don't go.
Shares.
You don't do this. That was our episode on non-actors. And
share.
Like, that's too much. You just gotta go. And that was our non-actor episode on the New Way. Check us out next week. And cheers. That was enough. You didn't do it. You just hung me out to dry. You knew it was coming. God.
It stinks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm just happy I'm doing Dream Theater.
Dream Theater.
Dream Theater. Cheers. Bye.